One, two. And hello, welcome to another episode of The Card Show, a hobby positive podcast. I know it's been a while you've had one of those from me. I hear your comments, don't you worry. I know it seems like sometimes I'm down on a hobby. I think it's because I've talked about on previous pods, there's a lot more people, sort of exiting the hobby that I've spoken to over the years compared to new people getting into the hobby and asking questions. Maybe that's just because people new into it are too shy to ask certain questions. So not as many people will reach out, but yeah, there's a lot more people that are like, hey, I've been on a while and looking to move some stuff because I'm leaving a hobby, or just in general, I check in on someone and it's like, oh yeah, not really, don't really go onto my account anymore, don't really involve in the hobby no more, because of this, that, and the other. So I think it ground me a little bit, because at the end of the day, it's a hobby we all enjoy, and to see people sort of in these dire straits due to ever listen to their own people or believe in certain hypes that people sold and get involved in breaks, and then obviously sort of getting a bit too giddy with breaks, a personal strength thing. Yeah, it was kind of like, we need to do more in this hobby to help people and guide them in a safer way, right? To make sure they can enjoy this hobby, enjoy this, and people started business out of it, which is great. But yeah, I think it sort of ground me a little bit. I think a lot of people thought my pods or my takes on certain things were negative. I didn't mean to be sort of negative. It was just sort of the blunt reality of all. This is, at the end of this, is real money you're playing with. And we are in a weird sort of economical, I don't say crisis, but we're like little economical space at the moment. So when you listen to certain people and you believe certain hypes, and also you start spending X, Y, Z on certain breaks because you might hit a £30,000 card or whatever it may be. You just remember you're gambling money here. You're gambling money, and you only do it when you have spare. If you're going to get involved in that aspect of this hobby, which a lot of people, a lot of companies are pushing, just make sure it is throwaway money. It's money you don't really care about. Obviously, make sure you have your life sorted prior before thinking about hitting this potential jackpot of a one of one auto of certain rookies, etc. So that was all it meant. I'd probably went on. Probably was a dark stage. Probably went on for a bit too long. But yeah, I hope it wasn't too bad for you guys. But I don't know. It's just means a lot to myself. Obviously, seeing it's always nice seeing new people come in. Obviously, but it's always nice to retain people, and if I can bring out data, I can try and tell them that listen, like these people are selling breaks. That's what they're doing. They're selling something to you. They're selling a hype, a belief that you could get something. But just remember that it's real money you're playing with. Don't get too carried away. So yeah, that was always it. And again, it's obviously not regulated. This whole gambling on buying products and buying to breaks, etc. So it's obviously there's no way to turn that off on your app, is it? They've got an app to inside their apps and that whatnot, or whatever they do. They always have this pay on, pay later, but they never have a set limit thing, do they? So like when it's not fun, when the fun stops, so does the betting, whatever it may be. I don't gamble, so I don't know what that one is, but yeah, that was all that one is. But anyway, hobby positivity, because I still do love this hobby. I still obviously put content out a few times a week, whether that just be pictures, videos, reels, etc. on Instagram, whether that's obviously the podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whether that's looking at the data every week on YouTube, using the market movers app, just using GemRate, just try to give people a bit of a smarter way of if they do want to make this more than a hobby as well. There's other ways to buy cards, get them graded, add value to that card, and then sell on and make profit. Obviously, it doesn't work with every card, but there is obviously a lot of cards, and you can look at data, historical data, easy for me to say, and look at sort of timing of cards to sell as well. But that's enough about what I am doing on that front. You also already know because you're already here. But yes, but hobby positivity, and we'll start just before I crack on with the hobby positivity, good vibes. I'll start with obviously the Prem's back, which is obviously always great for the soccer fans, for us football fans. Brighton top of the league. Who would have said that? I have entered. Did I enter a break? Not a break. I did enter a fantasy league. I think lastminute.com. That wasn't the website. That was just me. I was last minute. I entered third down displays. They've obviously got their shop opening soon, but they were doing a fantasy league with free of charge. With P Commando and other people involved in there. I think Yorkshire Collector, sorry, was donating some stuff. So they clubbed together a few other people in the hobby and other companies, etc., brands, and give some giveaways each. I think it's each month or maybe each week. I was last minute. I told you I thought I'd better jump in. So I've got a bit of a rush cheat. I don't even know how I've done. I don't own the app. I need to download the app on my phone. I need to get the app and double check everything. And I'm just very bad at that sort of thing. I'm very bad at checking in weekly, changing players, putting someone as a captain or a triple captain and nonsense. I'm not the best at that part. I've just sort of set a team out and done. Kind of what I do when I record or record a video for Foot Manager. So I'll do my team, do my tactic, set my training up. I don't know if it makes a difference, and then I'll just go on holiday because we don't do like simming. So I sim the season. So that's just a team. That's just everything it is. I just sim it, let the assistant take over, come back to the season, and see how we did. Because it makes it a lot easier for when you're doing a video. You know how to do a video of Football Manager. Doing a whole season, it can take a long time. So it's just a lot easier doing that way. Random one, but that's what I do there. So I need to get better at going on 3 to 4 times a week when these games are on, midweek games, etc., Friday night games, and try and changing players and keeping in touch with who's injured, who's not, who's suspended, who's not. So I'll let you know how that goes. Let me know if you're in any fantasy leagues, and let me know how you go on. I am just so bad at them that I just never change any players. So I need to. Maybe this is the year I learn. You can sort of hold me accountable. I'm not overly fussed, but you can hold me accountable. You can say, "Listen, what are you doing with your team? Where are you? What's going on?" But Steve Bradbury is back. I was waiting for drinking it Australia. I thought Haaland's going to be trembling. Big man, chill out, yeah. Chill out. Again, it wasn't like a great display from City. They would easily, I think they come out of first gear. They were in second gear. They were took it easy. They were coasting. Obviously, a few big players missing. But they got the job done. Chelsea, a few good spells, but to be at home, new manager. I think the whole Sterling thing was interesting. Especially when you said when you got likes of Conor Gallagher, who was literally in Madrid taking photos of Atletico fans. He could have come out and put a statement out. Trevor Chalobah, who's been there since the academy, young day, I think it's 7 years age or something like that, 9 years age. The way he's been treated, and he's obviously Ben Chilwell's also been told that he can go elsewhere. I think you've got to be more professional in scenarios. At the end of the day, just happened to Joe Hart at City, right? New manager comes in, you're not my goalkeeper. I respect you, and we'll try and find someone, and the job's done. To come out when the manager said this, like at the end of the day, you're not the manager's guy. That's it, man. You tell your agent we need to get out of here. We need to get out of Dodge. We need to get out of Dodge and go. Especially obviously the transfer window's over. I mean, I could see it. I don't know if he'll be happy with it, the old Sterling, but I could see maybe Eze going to City. Obviously Bob injured, Savino took a bit of a knock. Did he get him in? Him, Doku, and then Sterling going across the Palace. You're in London, just jump across the Palace. Start, you can be their main man there. Let me know any thoughts on that one. I think Ben Chilwell's gonna be interesting because left backs are hard to come by. He's a decent this one if he can stay fit. So he'll be interesting. But Chelsea, I mean, when you sign a player a week the last 2 years, you're going to start getting rid of some people too. So it's going to be interesting what happens there. Even Conor Gallagher. I mean, Conor Gallagher and so we've got Gallagher, Wharton, Sterling, Arteta. I mean, that's not too bad for for Palace. Just foot manager style. That's all I'm saying. Foot manager. That's not too bad. That. I'm putting in tactics there. A bit of a tweak here and there. Not bad. But the Premier's back. The Premier's back. The big boys getting off, to wins. With Arsenal, Liverpool, obviously United at the death. Happy for Xerxes. It's always difficult going to a new league, and there's a lot of scrutiny because maybe not what people wanted. So to start off well is always going to be good for your confidence. Commiserations to my good friend Dan, obviously the Fulham Fan Sports Cards UK. Also on that note, I will say happy belated birthday, as it was his birthday over the weekend. I feel like he celebrated it quite well. Obviously, I wasn't with him celebrating it. I'm an 016 Manchester boy, and he's obviously Londoner. But we'd obviously, if he'd done something like that, I would have gone down. But he was preoccupied with other things. And but no, look, he had a good time. It sounded like a good time. I want to get him on. I want to get him on the pod soon. So I know you're probably listening, Dan, because you're that type of guy that you support, which leads on to the hobby positivity thing. But you're a big supporter of not only myself, but a lot of content, not only in the UK, but around this, the sports card. So I appreciate you. Give you your roses while you're still alive. But no, happy belated birthday to you. Maybe slide in his DMs or something, I don't know, and say happy belated. Make him feel uncomfortable with other love. So yeah, but yeah, Danny's a big advocate and supporter of the sports card hobby, the UK content, the UK people in it, and that's why you see him, majority of shows, and you see his content, every week. So I will have to get him back on. He was one of the first guests, if not the first guest, I believe, episode 2 or 3, something like that, up in Edinburgh. We took a little trade room in the morning because they were up early. Yeah, the good old days. Being Dan getting battered Mars bars. What a great vlog. Make sure you check mine, Dan's vlog on that. It was fun times. Looking forward to doing that again. Soon come. But yes, hobby positivity. Right. Let's start with the last, what are we saying here? 3 weeks now. So national. Yes, there was issues. Yes, there was issues. But we had a large contingency, not only from England, but also from Europe go over. Obviously, they enjoyed major parts of it and were, I say upset, but didn't enjoy as much minor parts of it. And then they come into London Card. Obviously, some people didn't go just because of, time, and they've been away, in Cleveland for a bit, and they went to spend some time with family, friends, etc. But London seemed to go from strength to strength, bigger and bigger and better as well. And then obviously the announcing straight away a 2-floorer and stuff like that. It just shows the growth there. And then going now into Fanatics Fest, and I said this, I told you. Say into the John Fury. Everybody told you, hey, you always support them. Fighting men, we are fighting men. But yeah, I told you Fanatics Fest was going to be just a whole new universe of stuff. It is a way. It's like a merge of people with money who probably aren't in the hobby and sort of celebrities. And I like what they're doing, and I sort of on certain aspects, but I also don't like what they're doing on other aspects. I think it's definitely going to bring a whole new crowd into the hobby. Whether they become collectors or whether they just become sort of flippers, investors, sort of thing, is going to be interesting. I'm hearing the WWE stars were out selling, sports stars for the meet and greets and signing sessions, quite heavily, which is interesting. It was obviously just a I think it's still going today, right? It's just a fun fair of madness over there. But yeah, I talked about it. It was funny because when I was in New York at the beginning of the year, I stayed literally opposite this, the Javits Center. So I was, as soon as I heard about it, I was looking, and the hotel I stayed at was 4 times as much as it was when I went for New Year's onwards, which I thought was crazy. So yeah, I did. One of the reasons I didn't go, I don't say many reasons, but I was obviously very excited for this sort of thing. I was more. I think what put me off is that when they portrayed it. It was very much, you know, the meet and greets, the superstars, the different sports, the people that aren't in sports like Travis Scott's, the obviously the WWE stars, all this, all of like the Fanatics sort of partnerships coming together, and it just seemed like a place to go and suppose hang around in a close vicinity to all these superstars and see all these crazy stuff going on. And I knew they'd unveil products and unveil things because it's just you just would why would you not? It's you got all them eyes there, right, for the same sort of thing. Um, but yeah, I didn't know if there's going to be like a place to sort of buy, sell, trade as well, like the national. You go into tables. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity to do that. Also, grading seems to be done like on there and then with PSA, which seems to be cool. But yeah, it's going to be. I know they've announced Pittsburgh and Orlando, Florida, or just Florida. Well, I can't remember. They've announced two more for this year. Definitely Pittsburgh. Definitely Orlando or Florida. Do not quote me on that Orlando or Florida one. It's one of them two. I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's Orlando, Florida. I cannot remember, and I should have checked. And I know they announced. Was it LA or Las Vegas? I'm gonna say LA, just because if you go Vegas, would you just spend more time gambling? Yeah, I know they've announced a West Coast one. So yeah, again, they're gonna do crazy things. They're gonna be around. They're gonna go around. Hopefully, they bring it to Europe, because that'd be cool. Really cool. I think they will. I think they'll go Asia, Europe. They'll do things because their vision, their is it their passion? I don't know. Their drive for sure is going to take them like beyond this. I think if they could do it on Mars or the moon, they would just to do it. Um, so yeah, I don't think they'll all be like this one in New York. I think said was it the Pittsburgh one was very much more like collector based, but they have. I don't want to say they've raised the bar national, and that's what I thought originally it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like a raise of the bar of the national and make the national sort of say, "Hey, we're going to have to up it up here." But I think this is just a whole different stratosphere. It really is. So it seems obviously I'm not. I think the soccer card United boys are there. Obviously, I've seen Hobot's Luke there. I have to get someone on and tell them to give me their experience, I suppose. But yeah, obviously there's still quite a few English and Europeans that have gone over. But yeah, it'd definitely be cool to hear their perspective being in sort of in the midst of it all because it seems like an absolute madness. And again, and it can only be good for the hobby. So even if it does bring people in that just want to hear the monetary side of the cards, it's still going to bring money into the hobby to buy and sell cards. So it can be good. I mean, obviously it's going to hamper certain collectors, but it's unfortunate that this is just something we have to have in this hobby where, there's always going to be people who are going to make money in certain ways. So yeah, if every collector could buy their best cards for a pound or $1, for instance, so obviously we'd all love that, wouldn't we? But yeah, it's not the world we live in. So we have to deal with this one, and it's not too bad. And it's getting bigger and better. Let's say it's bigger and better. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Fanatics. I said it was going to be the new show. It's going to be interesting to see people watching this and actually seeing people's vlogs from it when they come out because obviously you got Clark at the 2. I think Rough Cards was there, Mojo, so Gary V and the team were there. So it's going to be interesting seeing all these different views, perspectives from the show, and what sort of the hype that builds for future ones. But I think going forward, and that's going to be now the one that people will sort of go to. If you've got, I'll say, a limited budget because it's still expensive to go to America and stay over there. But yeah, if you can't budget to go to the national, I mean, I don't always think Fanatics Fest will be 2 weeks after national, but yeah, even if it's close vicinity, I don't think everyone's going to want to fly to next year Chicago, and then also do LA, LV, or wherever there are other ones Fanatics Fest might be. I think they'll do more than 1 year as well. Will people want to be spending so much money? I mean, I think it was this big thing, wasn't it? Like, oh, the national is like the mecca of the card hobby. You have to go, and I've said it numerous times. That is people's opinions. Don't let it sway how you feel. If logistic wise, you're thinking it's a week to 10 days away from friends, family, a week to 10 days worth of food, money, and obviously your time compared to how you make money in a hobby or how you collect your cards. Um, is it worth it? Then don't feel like you have to go because people are telling you it's the mecca. Like, I think they've made some changes this year about things because they've got sort of this committee in charge now. I think Card Collector is one of them, and was it Doctor Collectibles, which was interesting because I think everyone that was part of this committee was a part of a breaking company, apart from Doctor Collectibles, which is quite interesting. There's this breaking culture that's getting pushed, and I know the Fanatics were doing breaks for kids and getting kids involved in breaks, whatever it was, over at Fanatics Fest, which is you know extremely weird. Because again, it's gambling, and we shouldn't be sort of advertising so freely to kids like that. In, you know, but yeah, it's it's one of them things, National. I think if you genuinely feel like, oh, I'd love to just go and experience it, then maybe if that if you've got the financials to do it, go and do it. But don't feel like it's something you have to do to embed yourself in this hobby. There's many ways to be very much embedded in this hobby without flying to Cleveland, Chicago, what was it, Atlantic City one point. You know, to be involved in the hobby. Let's be honest here. I've done this year with. I think I was briefly at Manchester Cardcom 3. I think it was 4 at the beginning of the year. I got there a bit late because I was extremely busy the following prior night and the daytime. And yeah, I got there a bit late. I spent maybe an hour there, if that. Jumped in a taxi there from where I am to Stockport, jumped in one back. Um, and it was literally it's more of a social visit. I think I looked at a few cards and that was it. I had to apologise to Rainey because I was meant to help, but again, I just got extremely waylaid and busy because obviously I used to help out at MCC, Manchester Cardcon. Um, but obviously that one and the recent one I haven't. And yeah, I've not done any shows other than that this year. I sort of switched focus on how much money I was spending on going to shows, whether it would be, from Manchester, I was going on a train to Glasgow or Edinburgh, staying over, eating, drinking, buying, selling cards. And then, a few weeks later, I could be going to London for a card show. Again, it's train, accommodation. So it got to the end of last year and I was starting to, looking at all the numbers and I was thinking, financially here, there's more money getting spent on your travel accommodation, going to any shows than you're making from selling single cards, or because the percentage in selling cards is not always great. You're probably going to get, I say, 50 to 70% of the time, breaking even. I'd say 50%. I'd say I'm breaking even. It's at like 30%, not 70, 70 to 100. That actually 30% there is where you make your profit, and sometimes it can be great, and sometimes it can be you're making 10, 20%. So, but more often, that 50 to 70, that area there it's a big sort of bit of a loss in there. Majority of the time breaking even, and again, when you think about, you can have a card raw, then the PSA get graded, wait, recently it's obviously been like 40 business days, 45 business days. So you're still waiting a couple of months. It's a while to have that money sort of held up, get it back, and then sell it. It's a while to sort of be breaking even. It's a while to be holding 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds in your pocket, really. So it's interesting. Obviously this year I've just done strictly eBay then to sort of see how that was going. Obviously my costs are down massively because I'm not trading, accommodation, food, travel, socializing, buying, selling, etc. So that's obviously one plus. The downside is I've missed out on a lot of interactions with friends. I've not been able to catch up with many people face to face. I've not had the sort of the memories with Dan of obviously sleeping in the same room. Stay with Chris and third down. Obviously we slept together. Whoa, pause. Slept in the same room instead of beds at the Brighton card show. Was it South Coast? I think it was called. So yeah, there's been sort of memories, times, fun times, missed out because of that. So I think next year will be much fun. It'll be sort of the compromise of okay, I don't mind spending. Well, so for instance, London for me is £100 on train, 100 £110 from Manchester to Esher. 'Cause obviously the underground, overground. There's a little bit more on the metro for me as well. So let's say £115. So I got metro to Manchester. So and then the accommodation is £200. So £300 just for me to get from my door to the hotel door, which is obviously it's a lodge built on essentially to the London Car Show, which is the Sandown racecourse. Um, so yeah, that's 300 done straight away. Then there's obviously the food. I do go on the Friday and I stay till the Sunday. So that's another thing as well. I do stay Friday night, Saturday night, and come back Sunday. So it's 2 nights. And then there's obviously food for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, drinks, etc. And then there's obviously anything you may do. And sometimes you may get a trade that comes to your table, or that you find, and you have to put cash on top of that as well. So there's just some sort of things. And if you're behind the table, obviously you're just trying to sell. Sometimes a lot of people want to do trades with a bit of cash, or the cash is or the profit isn't there as much there and then because of you take on cards. So it is just one of them is of getting that fine balance. So I think next year it'll be one of them where I go, okay, I'm going to go to this show and that's it for that month, and I'll buy sell here. And then the month after, it's like okay, there's not much going on. I can just keep to online buying selling, which I will always advocate is one of the best ways, just for purely financial and profit wise. eBay is always the best way because it's going to have the most amount of eyes on your product. If you take a card to a card show, you have depending on what sort of card show it is, it could have 200 people at a card show. It could have 7,000 whatever it is at Scotland and at London nowadays. Which is obviously potentially a great deal walking through your table looking at your card. eBay obviously you can put it on for 20 odd days, you can keep it going, and it can have hundreds of thousands of views. So there's obviously always that. Some signs when people bid on eBay as well, they don't always sort of look at comps, whereas you more often not at tables nowadays. They're going to look at your card, they're going to have a quick check on comps, see where the card's at, and then try and come down to that sort of price. So if you've left that comp footprint, it's obviously always a lot harder to try and tell people that you're trying to make 20-30% on that, because they're going, well, once sold that pricing, yeah, that was me. And they go, once sold before that, this pricing is like, can meet you in the middle, and sometimes the middle cannot be great for you. Whereas if you work on eBay, sometimes someone just wants that card and someone else does, and they're just bidding. And sometimes someone just doesn't look at comps, they just want the card. So they'll put their max bid in. Someone might put a bid in a minute before, and it'll just raise their bid a little bit extra, and they pay a little bit more than they want to, but not as much as obviously they would limit themselves to. Hence why they put in their max bid. So yeah, that's the thoughts on that one. That's why you're not seeing as many vlogs, and not seeing me and Dan, or me and JJJ, or even me and Sports for Scotland as well. Doing sort of vlogs and content together. I've been very much just focusing on that sort of grind of things. I've enjoyed it nonetheless. I did try documenting some things, but I don't know what I'll do with all the footage. I'm one of them guys that has a lot of footage, a lot of things, and I've just not too well. But yes, so yeah, it's fun. But again, I do miss the fun times. Maybe the hobby and the whole community isn't the same as what I remember from a year ago or so, but I'm sure I can bring back some good fun nights, pre-show nights and post-show nights. We shall see. We shall see. But back to the Fanatics first, the hobby in general. This is what we wanted, right? We wanted to make this seem like all this preconceived thoughts about people in the hobby are not true. And I think this is what Fanatics Fest have done pretty well. Yes, wrestling outsold all this stuff, which is fine. I used to watch wrestling. Don't watch it as much as I used to. But I used to watch wrestling quite a lot as a kid. Obviously, I'm a D Generation X NWO sort of era kid. The Attitude Era. I did watch it a bit before. Bret Hart was my guy. The early 90s. I was born in 86, so show my age. But yes, and even with that aspect of it, people may say, "Oh well, wrestling, it's all the same." The overweight people that live with the parents, etc. I think we're seeing it. This is not true. Look at the people there. Travis Scott and all. He's going to bring them sort of fans across. We saw with the Tom Brady, Gronk. It's the people in this hobby are diverse from every race, creed, color, size, weight. all sorts. And I think the more this is getting put out there and shown, I think that, slowly about bringing them walls down, and maybe more people come out of the proverbial closet to say, do you know what? I used to collect Paninis, the Premier League stickers as a kid, and I used to collect Pokemon when I was this age, because a lot of people did. I'm telling you now, I was in them streets, I was hustling them stickers, and I was moving them cards in secondary school. For me, it was. So yeah, I know people was buying and selling it. I think they're too cool for school now to be making this sort of thing and be back in the hobby. But yes, what's a pod? What's a positive pod? Should we say? Um, yes. Well, I don't know. I'm probably gonna end it there because I don't know what else to say about this. So I'm quite hyped about it now. But I appreciate you all for listening so far. I will try and get some guests on soon. I've been slacking a little bit just because I've with work and other commitments, and I had certain things that I wanted to talk to you guys about in general, just get off my chest. Obviously, I hear your comments and feedback to me, so I just want to address some things as well. There'll be someone asked there'll be another Q&A one. I'm always open to Q&As, as in like just slide into the messages. I always try and answer questions as soon as I can. Another Q&A post. I've had a few questions that have been similar, I suppose. So I might do one in a few weeks' time, maybe, just to sort of, I think it's interesting when I always get a few questions the same. That's why I never sort of, well, and one of the reasons why I don't just say, "Oh, this person said this." One, people that probably don't want to be named like that and feel a certain way. And two, if it's a question I get asked once, I usually don't bring up on the pod. I use unless it's, you know, quite a unique one. I go, oh, people might want to hear about this. But if I get it a few times, I think, okay, this is like a common problem. Let's try and solve this common problem to get it out onto the stratosphere so people can find the answer. So yeah, again, I will probably do something similar. I will definitely get my boy down on the belated birthday boy, Sports Cars UK, when he's got some time for me. I appreciate all the love we had recently with the guests we had, but it's been kind of crazy from Ben from Third Down, from Grading Club, Aaron, Jojo. Oh, the Jojo JMS. It's just jjj.cards. So yeah, and a good friend as well. A good friend of I don't know if it's a channel. I don't know if he follows me. I think he does. Actually, I think he does listen to the podcast quite well, and this will be a good testament here. But Sully is starting to do some pods finally, because he's a bit of a fountain of knowledge, especially when it comes to the vintage. He started to appear quite a lot on the European vintage. I don't know if it's called Discord pod, but yeah, they do it on Spotify only, video and audio. They also have a Discord. There's a link, and I think it's in JW7. I will actually look that one up. Kind of bad I didn't look up Fanatics, but I'll look up this one. I'm pretty sure it's JW7. I'm gonna look at full now, Anna. Yes, JW7 underscore collectibles. So they have a Euro vintage Discord and podcast, but this so far it's been really good. I am in the Discord, not as my name. I never in Discord as my name for many reasons. So yeah, I'm like sleuthing in there, little sleuth. No one knows. No one knows who I am. But yeah, they've it was interesting. Well, they obviously, I don't think they know I was in there, and someone has shared the pod with JJJ, and they seem to enjoy it. And then there's a few other people commenting. So it was interesting to see how the vintage community took that podcast, because I don't know what people know about my vintage. I do have another vlog actually from my card fair coming out this week. If I put my finger out and put my ass in gear, it should have been out last Wednesday, and for some reason I just didn't put it out. I don't know if I wasn't happy with certain things. I wanted to change something. I don't know what it was. I'll remember and get back to it when I open it up. But yes, that will be out this week, I guarantee. On the lookout, looking at obviously the card market again this week, and maybe some plays to be made. But yes, back to what I was going on. Another tangent. Jeez. Yes, get onto that Discord. Get onto the podcast. There is some very knowledgeable men in there, and very very knowledgeable podcast. Very good podcast so far. I will maybe try and, if he's not too busy, try and get him on this podcast while I'm to JW7 and Sully and whatnot, because yeah, I think it's always good to spread awareness and knowledge. Also, Max's soccer cards has got his own YouTube now, which is cool for him. He was big on content the last couple of years, people may remember. Yeah, so Max's Soccer Cards UK. He has a YouTube channel now. The boy Sports Card Scotland is pushing his American vlog. Obviously, he was over in the USA recently. He was at Leighton Sports Cards, and I think it was one of their card shows, one of the card show they sponsored. He was there, picked up a few bits, but make sure you check out his vlogs, sports_cards_Scotland. Obviously, the boy Dan is doing content pretty much all the time. He's pushing TikTok. So head over to Sports Card UK TikTok. He's answering questions and doing all sorts of madness on there, but he's pushing out quite hard. He's doing a lot of content on there, and it seems to be his avenue at the moment, as well as obviously hitting 5K subs. And then obviously JJJ Cards is back doing content, not as much because he's quite a busy guy with work, but he's obviously doing his content, which are vlogs, and he's also going to people's collections and going through a lot of vintage stuff and showing how he runs his business, which is cool. There's many more people I want to thank as well. You know who you are. Morts, MD. I can't list everyone because I'd just be here all day, but you know who you are. Always supporting it. It's always appreciated. Just any comments and all sorts of nonsense, whether it's a post. Chief Mahomes, another one. Yeah, they're just generally just great guys to have around, to talk to have in the hobby and stuff like that. It means nothing to them guys. Maybe it's just you scroll, you press the like, you go on YouTube, you subscribe. It means the world to these creators. It really does, because they are putting their time, effort into creating these things. So, give them their flowers. It's really appreciated. Like I said about the previous people out there doing content as well. El Toro is pushing it quite big at the moment as well. He's also in the Discord. He's on the podcast with the European Discord, and he's also part of the Top Loaded Podcast boys. So he's pushing out work as well at the moment and putting out content for you guys. So yeah, it's just, let's keep positivity going. I've not gone negative Nelly for all these naysayers and all these comments I was getting. I was just quite zoned in on making sure that do some, realization slaps, really virtual realization slaps that these people were just trying to get money from you, and this is real money you're getting rid of, and getting involved in breaks and leaving the hobby because you had too much money and you're wasting money and just getting nothing but base cards and stuff like that. So just yes, I will. If you want more rants, I can rant on that too, but bit of positivity. I think we're in a good space at the hobby. Coming into what's supposed to be summer, it's kind of feel like summer's sort of ended where I am in Manchester at the moment. The sun's not here no more, but let's look forward to future shows. And yeah, and more greatness. But again, thank you everyone for everything you do, every like, comment, share, subscribe, notification bell that's been hit, and obviously for liking other people's comment that and content that do content in UK, whether that be El Toro, JJ, Cards, Dan, Sports Cards UK, Max's Soccer Cards, Sports Cards Scotland. We're putting this out for you guys. That's what we're doing it for. We're literally putting out to help you guys. So yeah, that's my I don't know if it's the old pack rate back. I don't know. Is it a new pack rate? I do not know. But I just don't want. I was hearing your comments, and yes, when I wasn't interviewing guests, it did seem a bit more aggressively morbid, but it wasn't. It was just because maybe someone would message and, oh yeah, I bought this because they were saying that I can get a 30 grand card, and then the comps they were using was from a whole different set, and it was a different refractor completely, and it was graded PSA 10. So it was just kind of like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, just waffled. So thanks everyone. Take care of yourselves. I will see you guys soon, and thanks for everything. Peace. Do 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 do.